Once you've opened up a new repository folder, in this case, on the top left, you can see Copilot Demo, which is the repository folder that I'm using. I can create a new file. For this file, I'm going to type index.html. Once I have index.html typed, select Create File. Now we can use Generate Code from this menu here, select a language, or dismiss this by typing, or don't show this again. You can also pull up the sidebar by clicking this icon in the top right. You can build with agent instructions. You have a couple options. You can select from agent, ask, or edit. First, let's just try agent. For the model selection, you can have it auto, so it's based on what type of query you use, or you can use one of these older models that don't cost as much. Here you can see 0.33x. That's how much of your monthly quarter Claude Haiku 4.5 takes. Some of the more powerful models, such as Gemini 2.5 Pro or GPT-5 Codex, use 1 credit out of your credit quota for the month. So let's go ahead and choose one of these. Let's try this GPT-5 Codex preview. Since we're using agent, we can go ahead and type in plain language what we want to have. So here now I've typed, make an interactive slideshow of images that rotates the images on desktop and mobile, make the site responsive, and give ways for the user to click to an About section and a Contact section. Make it a single HTML page. I'll go ahead and click this, and now it'll go to work. First, it may ask you if you want to enable it. This is set in your preferences. You can enable or disable models at any time. I'll click Enable. Now it'll go through working on that request. Since it's in agent mode, it'll show you how many characters it added and how many it subtracted. It'll also give you a basic summary. Here you can see that this is all of the new changes, and then you can select to keep or undo. If you select Go Live, this will show you how this works. So now we have our Nimbus gallery, different boilerplate parts we can change, and we can select through the different sections. If I go back to Visual Studio Code, I can see where it is pulling this information from. Here you can see that it is using images from Unsplash.com, which is a common technique for using placeholder images. I've added some cyanotype images into an image folder inside my repository. I'll select Keep. So now I'm asking it to change the page so it uses all of the images in the IMG folder instead of the images from Unsplash. Now you can see that it subtracted the Unsplash images. Then it added 123 characters. In this case, it's added links to the actual cyanotype images. We can see that the descriptions and the alt tags are not accurate. You'll have to go in and add those yourself, but it is pretty close. It definitely has cyanotype collages of assorted botanical fragments, so it is trying to go ahead and see the images and add in alt text, but you will have much better results if you type these yourself. Now there is a summary of what it's done, no Unsplash URLs. I'm going to go ahead and keep these. Then if I go to Live Preview, and if you forget your Live Preview port, just disconnect it and then select Go Live again. Now we can see that it has the cyanotypes. Some things that we may want to change are how these look and are cropped. We can click on the About page and see how it slides down here. We can change all this placeholder text. We have a project page that shows images that we've collected and is fully working. Of course, change out the content so it matches what you want. Then we can click on Source Control and we can commit this repository. I'm going to say Initial Commit of Image Gallery Demo, and then select Commit. So this commits the changes. Then I can publish the branch. If I select Publish Branch, if you're not signed in to GitHub, click Allow. Make sure you have the right account you want to use, and then select Continue. Then I'll select a public repository. Once you push the repository, you can then see it on github.com. Then in the repository, click on Settings, select Pages. It will say Build and Deployment Source Deploy from a branch. Select the branch you want to use, in this case main, select Save, and then by default it should have enforce HTTPS. If not, make sure you select it. If you've configured a custom domain name in another repository, it will use that, or you can configure a different domain name for this particular repository and add a CNAME file. Now, you can reload this page. Once the site is ready to be viewed, you can click on the link, and now you can see it live on the web. Now go back into Visual Studio Code and continue to customize and change your site, and then eventually commit and sync the changes. Happy web page coding!